so that we can get in on the underground tour, so we get to see all the like basements and the cellars and stuff, because they're reputed to be really haunted. And hopefully we'll get to go and see the well that Phoebe Gray was dumped in.
Excellent. If we could like lower like the K2 or the DVR down into the well to like capture something, or if it like breaks and falls off as in true Calamityville style it will do. I'm not sure the staff will let us winch ourselves down to go back and get it. Really jerky upside down shot, because there's a camera like wait, flips over and it's upside down, and then everyone watches that scene and be like, oh my god, that feels sick. We'll be like, well, think how poor Phoebe felt dumped down there.
It didn't happen. The house was celebrating the British victory for the Battle of... what's the name of the battle? All partying, having a good time, hog roast, fireworks, all that. And some people went to bed about midnight, some people wanted to carry on partying. And William Collison was one of the people who wanted to carry on partying.
Apparently a nasty, ugly, very smelly man.
Yes.
Apparently a stranger to soap and water, even in those days. Probably like just an army of flies just following him from his
You could just imagine.
Yeah, the stink lines coming off her.
And he was a servant, actually. Like, who would allow their servants to smell like that? I'd be sending them to the baths. Go get clean, you dirty bastard.
I'd be getting my servant beaten stick and beating the dirt off her.
He took a fancy to Phoebe Gray, who was a 16-year-old nursemaid. She looked after the children of the house. And every night, Phoebe would take up a hot cup of a beverage, I suppose, to Nanny in the nursery.
Nanny back house.
As with every night, she went up to take Nanny her cup of hot beverage, and he hid in a dark passageway waiting for her. As she passed him, he pounced and he tried to silence. He managed to strangle her. So he panicked, and he remembered there was a well in the cellar, so he dragged her body down to the cellar and dumped her body in the well. He fled like a coward, the smelly, awful coward he is. In the morning, everyone thought that they'd run away together.
Why would they think that? Why would they think that this pretty 16-year-old girl would run off of a troll?
Well, I think they soon cottoned on. That's why they went looking for him. Yes, they found him in a tavern, pissed as a fart, dragged him back. They tried him, found him guilty of murder, and did they hang him?
Yes.
They hung him. So poor Phoebe, and they found Phoebe's body in the well. The hauntings were repeatedly on the back passage.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah.
How are we going to phrase it?
The back stairwell.
Do you mind if we go and investigate your back passage, please? I hear it's haunted. I have this machine and it bleeps in this activity.
My ass is haunted. So poor Phoebe is known to haunt your ass. The back stairwell, and you can apparently hear a thud, 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 where she was dragged down the stairwell to her watery grave.
Mary Ingram is known as the Blue Lady. She was the daughter of Sir Thomas Ingram. Her portrait's actually in the Green Damask room, and she died in 1652. She was coming back from, I believe it was York. She'd been to a party, she was in a carriage, and she was attacked by highway robbers. They robbed the carriage and they ripped this pearl necklace off her neck, and the pearl necklace was a present from her grandfather, Sir Arthur Ingram. This happened in Garforth. The next morning she actually had no recollection of the robbery, obviously due to stress, but was convinced she'd lost the necklace. She was unpicking cushions and she tried to lift the floorboard. She wouldn't eat, she wouldn't drink, and she was often seen hiding stuff and then moving them and hiding them again so that nobody would find them. And then after 2 weeks she died. Apparently her spirit still searches the house for the necklace. Eyewitnesses have seen carpets ripple and heard creaking noises and blasts of cold air brush past people on the stairs. Now, a lot of the websites and stuff say she's about 14 or 15. Her father, Mary and her mother are buried in Westminster Abbey. There's a monk in a brown robe, a Knight Templar.
Was it 1155, I think? The Knights Templar took over Temple Newsam, and then I think the Templar was suppressed.
Yeah.
It was passed over to Sir Philip Philip Darcy, but that wasn't until 1377. What happened to it in between that time? Was it empty for all those years?
Quite possibly, or maybe the Knights Templar was squatting. No. In 1554, Henry VIII gave it to his niece Margaret, the Countess of Lennox. His son Henry, Lord Darnley, was born there in 1545. Margaret, wanting to claim the throne of England and Scotland, arranged a marriage between Henry and Mary, Queen of Scots. Queen Elizabeth I wasn't happy and had the Countess imprisoned in the Tower of London, like Queen Elizabeth seemed to do to everybody.
Yeah, it was a busy tower at that point, wasn't it?
In 1567, Henry Darnley was murdered, possibly by the Earl of Bothwell.
Bothwell!
Who then conveniently became Mary's second husband. Henry Darnley's son was James VI of Scotland, who of course became James I of England. In 1622, that's when Sir Arthur Ingram bought it. Can we just climb the hill for nothing? Calamityville style, we can't even find our way into the place. Good, I reckon we get to the industry playground.
We've just come out of Temple Newsam. We weren't allowed to film inside.
We'll take photos. Some people did not obey that rule. There's always one on the tour. In my defence, no one was looking, therefore I get away with it.
We got loads of photos of underground in the cellars, because this is Temple Newsam here. So this section with the tower there, this is the oldest section of the house, and the kitchens were over here, and they had a tunnel that ran underneath the courtyard from here across and then over to that section. You got all the cellars and things underneath where they kept a shitload of wine and beers, mainly.
No wonder they were sort of so violent and
That's
made bad
exactly
decisions.
what I was thinking down there. They were just pissed all the time.
Yeah. No wonder Henry VIII was a complete nut job.
So now we're going to head to the farm. Piggies! No dogs allowed in farm. Sorry guys, you've got to stay out here.
Oh, what?
Calamityville getting broody. Broody for chicks. Dude looks like Tina Turner.
They're silky. Oh, I miss our chickens.
Look, Tina.
Look. Wow. I got it.
Some people can't help themselves.
Look at it, it's like a giant cotton ball. More silky.
For sale. Do you want to take some home?
Yeah.
They got baby chickens over here.
Show us your baby. That's what our house is lacking, a goat.
A goat. I'm pretty sure your mum didn't appreciate a goat. Hello.
Now, have you seen any of the supposed ghosts around here? Yeah. When you're this place is haunted, you experience anything paranormal, don't walk away from me. I know they're here.
Back passage.
Maybe they're not allowed to talk to us.
Oh my gosh, I want to squish it. No, it's cute. Have you been down in the cellars? What do you think? What's your opinion on the amount of alcohol they used to drink? My finger.
Oh. Have you heard about Phoebe Gray and her getting killed on the stage? Have you seen anything?
Any Knights Templars hanging around?
You're preggers! There's a baby in it. Show us your baby.
No, not yet. No.
Show us. No, the
Don't
baby.
push it out yet.
Show us your baby.
Only when you're ready. Don't listen to
There's
them.
never been a birth on Calamityville. Have you two heard about the ghosts? Marble and Snowdrop. I read it as Marble and Blooddrop, and I think it might be called Donkey Blooddrop.
Something to grab your nipples with, eh?
Can I interest anybody in tongue removal?
That looks like the contraption that I have my tongue pierced.
Have you seen any of the ghosts?
Have you heard any screaming in the stairwell? Any thudding? Strange noises?
Did you know there's a murder at the house?
They've been paid off as well.
You've got one
Next one over there.
to us. Have you heard of the Blue Lady? We can pay you. Whatever they gave you, we'll double it. Have you heard of the ghosts? Yeah. Have any of you heard of the story of Phoebe and William?
You're new. You might not have been paid off yet. Have you heard about the murders in the house? Has your mum told you? Have you seen anything mysterious?
Little baggy tails. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, how beautiful are you? Hello. Are you sitting with your mummy?
And you gorgeous. I think I'll take you home. Yes, I will. Well, I needed a little bundle of you eating me now. Oh, we had a tongue hook over here. Have you seen anything strange? Any mists? Any monks? Oh, look at us, how they are. Any of the stories of the house? Oh, we got a talker. Hello. You are beautiful. Have you seen anything strange? You are very patient, Mummy. Do you know anything at all? Anything? And can I pat your baby? Yes, I can pat your baby. Thank you. The little tail wiggling.
Show us your babies.
Hello.
Hey. Ooh.
What's Kristen?
Hello, you two. You've been playing. Hello. Look at the one with the black lips.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Someone got into the makeup drawer, didn't they?
It's like a little goth sheep.
Hello.
Not making you nervous.
Have you heard of the ghosts? Have you witnessed anything? Heard anything?
Little nibble.
That one's talking. You heard about the ghosts? Have you seen the ghost? Full silent. The second we mentioned the ghost, he fell silent. Hello. Hello. What about you? Have you seen anything?
More goth sheep. Look at them. They look like they come from Kiss.
Have you seen the ghost? See, the moment you mention it, she falls silent.
Very happy to cuddle
Well, it's
you.
so big. Look at it. Got a baby. Do you have anything to say about the ghosts? No? Have you seen one? I think she wants to talk. Have you seen any strange shadows? Hello, beautiful. You've come back. Have you seen any mist? A mouse? I know you want to talk. Have you seen the Blue Lady? Have any of you seen Phoebe? You heard of Phoebe Gray?
That's right, died a horrible death. Got shoved in a well. Anything? Anyone heard any rumours? Screams? Shouts?
Things going bump in the night?
Any of you actually been into the stairwell? Oh, one over there, hand. Me! Pick me!
So my foot. No. I knew you'd show us your babies. Let's sit on this one. That's what motherhood does to you. Have any of you heard about the ghosts? You're our friend. I think I'll take you home too. 'Cause you're beautiful.
You are lovely.
Yeah, you are.
Actually, beautiful sheep. Like, really kind face.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. You have heard of the Blue Lady.
Hi.
Do you think we'll get her in the car?
I think we'll get her in the car. You are beautiful. Get lost.
Hello.
Just stand on you.
Are you eating me? Not the cutest thing. You good of the ghosts? Have you seen anything? Hello? Have you seen the blue lady?
You look like you're about to give birth any time now. Look at the size on you. And her. Look at this. Oh my god, we could have Calamityville birth right now. Look at Rissy's pants on.
on the fence and nibbling on the fence here.
You hear the shadows or strange noises going on up at the house. Not very talkative. No,
Look at him.
Have you heard about the ghosts at all?
Look at your curly fur.
Have you got any babies here?
Have there been any murders at the farm? Any ghostly
Caused
sightings?
any murders at the farm?
Pissed anyone off recently? Have they pissed you off? What's your view on the paranormal? Do ghosts really exist?
They're not a talkative bunch, are they?
Have you heard about the ghosts up at the house?
What dressed up, Mummy?
Why are you trapped in there?
Have you heard about the ghosts? The guinea pigs at the top and the birds have invaded.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard about ghosts? Have you seen the blue lady?
You heard about the ghost? It's okay. I am Mummy Sadaki. I'm one of you.
Do you have a minute to
Ride on the tractor.
answer some questions about some ghosts? Piggy!
Show us your babies.
Where are they?
Do you girls have any opinions on ghosts?
What's your view on the paranormal? Do we have a purpose here? What's the meaning of life?
Have you seen the blue lady?
His teeth. They must be babies. Oh,
Have you heard about the story of Phoebe and William?
See ducks with wigs.
Ducks in fancy dress.
Show us your curlies.
Ooh, waggling them at you.
Yeah.
Any rumours about the ghosts? You have? Have you seen any?
Have you heard any screaming?
Your boots!
She just said I believe in ghosts.
Do you believe in ghosts?
One of you did.
You do?
Their fleet. They've got fluffy feet.
What happened to Phoebe? Who killed her?
And what did he do with the body? Clueless.
Do you know anything about what happened to Mary Ingram?
The duck just said she died.
What happened to your head, dude? Oh, that's bad times. Nobody knows that. Do you remember anything about your accident? Who did this to you?
Was it William? Do you want me to bathe your eyes for you? I've bathed ducky eyes before.
Oh, someone wants to come and talk to her. Have you seen Mary wandering around looking for her necklace?
Do you know where her necklace is? Do you know who took her necklace? I think I've hypnotised the ghost. We've been interviewing your friends about the paranormal.
Would you like to add anything?
Any opinions?
Any of you have anything to say? You know, you've probably been holding on to these secrets for a very long time, so now's your chance to tell them.
Your faces.
We won't use your real name.
And we'll change your voices as well. How does that sound?
Somebody's willing to talk.
Oh, we have one. Have you seen the well where Phoebe was? Because they won't let us look at the well, and I think that's a little bit suspicious. Do you know anything about that?
That is going to get eaten.
Do you believe in the paranormal? Have you
That's
seen
an
any
odd.
ghostly shapes?
Have you seen any shadows?
I think someone's about to get eaten.
I think they reached the floor.
I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed.
Oh, I feel sick already.
Jake's gonna get out the swing. Ah! I think I've hurt myself.
How did you do it?
I landed quite hard on something.
Injury!
Playground injury.
You should be ashamed. You're
Jump on!
I feel sick.
I want to get off! I'm too old for that.
That was not a good move.
Calamityville will take him down by a roundabout. I feel really sick. The world is still spinning right now.
That's the sign of age and you can't see it. Oh my god, my head is just like...
I know.
I think we showed the kids and parents how to have a good time.
Yeah. Have we enjoyed ourselves today?
Yeah, definite thumbs up.
We've had babies, we've had adventure playgrounds, we've had Saturday tours, and then we'll go to the dungeon and that's going to be amazing.
I'm so excited
I'm so
today.
excited.
And this is where we put up our budget in the dungeon gift shop.
Terms of ghosts, nothing. Terms of fun.
The fun right up there
Yeah.
at 10.
I'd give it a 9. The only thing that lets it down is, I mean, the tour was really good,
Yeah.
but they should have people standing around in Temple Meeting House in each room, like they did in Baddesley, Clinton.
Yeah.
To give you a
film
more
me photograph.
yeah, and we couldn't
Yeah.
film inside.
I did take photographs. I still don't know about that, but you know, people get left behind.
But you know, to be fair, you taking photographs like in the cellar and stuff, but you're not going to damage anything.
got
and-
plunged
They
into
said
darkness.
no photographs in the house.
Yeah.
Technically, I was under the house.
Yeah.
That is quite possibly the greatest ice cream I have ever had.
No. And how long have we been trying to find somewhere to eat?
About an hour. Nina and I, both shoeless.
Feet are on fire. Cat's drink. My drink. What happened there?
Lash. Lash.
In my defence, I was very thirsty. And there was very good vodka and lemonade. So writing postcards to our grandpa. So we're going to laminate them and put them on his grave. Because we always send him postcards every time we go away.
And we'll go and hear lots of funny ghost stories. And then cry our way.
Cry our way
back to the car.
We've been to the dungeons.
Oh, it was amazing, except the children there, they must have been like, what, 10? And even Nina as a mother wanted to kill these children.
They were unbearable. And they kept giggling and going, oh, this is that bit, this is the good bit, this is what's going to happen in this bit. And you just wanted to go, shut up, stop ruining it for us.
And yet they were the ones that were scared and freaked out and like clinging to each other. It's like, seriously, go home and watch Bloody Disney.
Oh yeah, there was the
Leave us
other
to
couple of
dungeons.
girls that mustn't have been more than maybe 15, 16.
Clinging to each other and just like
Screaming.
even people in their 40s were like clinging to each other and hiding behind each other. We were the only three not freaked out or frightened by the dungeons at all.
We booed and hissed a lot in the courtroom, didn't we? Yeah. We were quite
We tried to persuade the judges to sentence the 3 little girls to be torn apart by wild horses.
And who was burned as being the witch?
Pick me! She pretended to like inject me with poke me or something. And if I didn't scream in pain, then I was guilty of being a witch, which I didn't because I was guilty. I was blatantly guilty. I cursed everybody. And so she tied me to the bonfire basically, and they lit a fire in front of me so I would burn to charred skeleton.
We were the only ones chanting, burn the witch, burn the witch. We called for her death the second she was put up on the stand. No one else really joined in until she sort of riled up the chants now, and we were cheering and booing and
Going, I say witch, you say burn, witch,
burn. Yeah, all of that. We were really getting
Burn the witch.
whilst I was cursing the crowd.
We did ask if we could take Nina's charred corpse back, you know, for her family to bury.
I was creeping out behind these people that were trying to get into the shop, and I just went boom and cacked her back. It was really funny. The thing is, I knew you were there, but I still screamed.
Witch. We're gonna do our ghost talk soon.
I'm hoping that Hottie on Stilts is running that.
Hottie on stilts.
Hottie on Stilts.
He was not.
He had the tricorner hat. It was just like a highwayman. It's the uniform.
Yes, look down and look ashamed.
And most of my information is cut off because it's documented scooter. The Earl of Northumberland was executed for treason in York, and he was executed in 1572, and his head was put on the spike at Micklegate Bar, which is the gate, and they used to put traitors' heads there. And it remained there for many, many years. So it's been all shriveled and then shriveled and then sort of skeletonized. So yeah, like it's just been this like happy grinning skull greeting visitors to York. Eventually it was buried here. The Earl has been spotted wandering the graves looking for his head. So he's like that. Like this. Walking into a headstone. Yeah, walking into a headstone. Feeling up statues like this, seeing, is that actually a face? Is that my face? And then, no, that's not your face, it's a statue. Fortunately, as you can see, it's locked. As we're standing here, locked out, he's wandering around there looking for his head. Yeah. And we could help him. Calamityville are good at finding stuff eventually. We could go dig.
We get there eventually.
We could
Yeah.
get some graves and we'll just give him any head. He's not going to know. Guys, the current building dates back to April 12, 1627. During the 1920s, two members of the touring group were separated. They saw a man in naval attire watching them. I mean, if he didn't say hello sailor, I'd be very disappointed. I'd be very disappointed as well, because that's the first thing you see when you see someone when you see someone in naval attire. And the sailor came over and whispered in one of the women's ears, as they do. Turned out he was her brother, and they'd made a pact that whoever died first would come back and prove to the other one that the afterlife existed. I think that's a really cool story. I think the three of us have to do this.
Too right.
From 1702 onwards, a gentleman loved the mint so much that in death he refused to leave, and he's been. Some squatters are just unbelievable.
Squatters' rights for eternity.
And he still comes and he listens to sermons. And also apparently the sound of the dog barking is said to haunt the Minster, because of course dogs are allowed to roam the Minster.
I am going to tell you the ghost story, the Grey Lady of St Leonard's of York. St Leonard's was an infirmary run by the church, and the sick people in this medieval hospital, they were looked after by an order of monks and nuns. And we're to read out the scene for this ghost story. So I'm going to pick a lady from the group tonight to act as this nun, Sister Celia. So.
Oh good, it's not too
Where's my volunteers?
God damn it.
Right back here. There she is.
None like by looks, none like by nature. Yes, no?
No.
She said no. So Sister Celia, she was looking after one of these sick patients in St Leonard's. Oh, do you have a boyfriend here tonight who could be sick?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, bring him out. Where? Do you have a girlfriend here tonight who could be sick?
Not here now. My wife's at home.
Okay. We'll take your pick then. Come and stand by my side.
I really didn't want to.
Okay. So Sister Celia, she was looking after one of these sick patients in St Leonard's in the Middle Ages when she took pity on him and she fell in love. And in a rush of passion, she fell into temptation and she broke her vows of chastity. Say no more. Just blow him a kiss and we'll use our imagination for the rest.
That's true love. That's right.
Poor nun was caught by Mother Superior and she was brought before the entire order of monks and nuns in St Leonard's. That's you lot. I think you better give her a very disapproving cheer.
Hussy!
She was also brought before Mother Superior. And for this Sister Celia, you are condemned to be walled up alive! 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 So it came to pass. Sister Celia was placed in a cavity in the walls of St Leonard's. Would you now like to act as executioner? You would, wouldn't you? Take Sister Celia by the arm, manhandle her, behind the bush, by the wall. We will use that section of wall there to wall her up alive. Behind the prickly bush here in the middle. The poor nun was walled up alive, stone by stone. So you can pretend to put a few stones in there if you like, executioner. Heavy stones, weren't they? Okay. There wasn't the faintest glimmer of light, and all she could feel were those cold and wet, slimy, damp walls, and the poor nun did starve to death, all alone, in a dark and damp living tomb. Centuries later, St Leonard's crumbled down, and York's theatre was built upon this very same site, and actresses in the theatre often claim of a clinging coldness and a feeling that they are being watched.
You watching them, sister?
And watched at the other side as well. That's good. Go. And give the bush a really good shake. Stay behind the prickly bush. Okay. Shivering. You also noticed she was entirely invisible from the knees down.
No, I'm just that short.
And he also noticed that she was hovering about 3 feet from the ground. Try that one. Smarty. That might have worked if I hadn't happened to be leaning back as you did that. Towards the end of the song, however, the ghost, he turned back into mist, and he contracted into a small sphere of mist, and simply vanished. Behind the bush! The ghost of the Grey Lady been seen on many other occasions inside the theatre, which is the very same site St. Leonard's once stood. So if you give that bush one last shake, Grey Lady, and then come and drift out this way. Out. Now, we'll try the clapometer to see how everybody thinks you did. So, you do a little curtsy and hold it. Ta-da!
Oh, Danny!
And go and stand back in.
You loved that.
Now, leaving lots of green Roman stone just around the corner of the roof there, small square cut stones known as the Saxa quadrata, that were pillaged, taken from the Roman walls, falling apart centuries over here, and then used to repair the church here. The age of the Roman stones, about 1,800 years old. In a few minutes' time, we're going to move on to St. Saviour's Church. And when we get there, have a look at the tower of the church. Very tragically, a few decades ago, one of the clergymen, he hung himself in the bell tower. So I suppose he died of a broken neck. Now, sometime after that, the church became redundant and the electricity was disconnected. A man came along and asked if he could carry out ghost investigation. And he wanted to sleep in the church night after night after night to see if he could catch anything either on camera. He gave him permission. He didn't hear anything from him for almost a fortnight. And he thought, I wonder what he's up to there. Perhaps his idea all along was to try and rob the place. So one dark and stormy night, it would have to be one of those, wouldn't it? The warden came back with the iron key for the front of the Anglican church door, the heavy oak door that will pass in a few minutes' time. And he walked up to the door, put the key in the lock, and he unlocked the door, and he swung the door open. And down the aisle of the church, he could find neither sight nor sound of the man. So he then walked into the vestry, found the man's sleeping bag. So he then walked back into the main part of the church, and he walked right back to the aisle. As he did so, he shone a torch around the back of every column on either side. Still no sign. Got up as far as the altar, not there either. So he then walked through an archway into an older part of the church. And as he came to the archway, he shone the torch to one side and the other. Well, I got some reactions from you that time. And there was the man, laid on the ground, with his sound and photographic equipment smashed across his body and his neck broken. He took out a key, he reopened that door, he took out a candle and he lit it, and he made his way down the passage until he came to the coffin, and he took out a bar and he started to prise open the lid of the coffin. He shone the candle forwards, and and there was the lady lit up inside. And he took hold of the lady's arm. Yours will do.
It is cold.
Hang on, I'll take that off. That one off as well.
No. That's quite effective, actually. Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Look at this. Ha ha! And he started to slide the very valuable gold rings, silver rings,
Cheap ring.
cheap metal silver coloured rings off the lady's fingers, one by one. When it came to the last ring, however, he found the ring was too tight, and no matter how hard he pulled, he couldn't remove the ring. Not daring to wait any longer, he took out a knife.
Chop it!
Will do. And he started to slide.
I need that finger for
and
pointing.
slash, crunching right through the bone, and blood started to pour out. And then there was a scream. Ah! Sorry, I actually did kick you there. I was just pretending to. You're all right there. Okay. Lady wasn't quite dead. She had simply been buried in a coma, and a pin in her finger caused her to regain consciousness. And she screamed out loudly. The vicar dropped the candle, and it went out. And they were now both together, all alone, in complete darkness. The vicar ran out the door, up those steps, through this gate, good reaction again, into the streets of York, as did the lady. And the lady made her way through the back ways and alleyways of York, staggering and bleeding as she did. She staggered back to her house door, and she knocked on the door, bleeding on the door as she did. Her husband in bed, he heard the knocking. Who could it be at this time of night, he wondered. He took out a candle, he lit it, and he came down the stairs with great trepidation. And he opened the crack of the door with great trepidation. And there, to his utter horror and disbelief, was his supposedly dead wife, minus, of course, a finger. So the story has a very happy ending. Want to have 12 more children. It's not happy. That's a lovely happy ending, ladies. She gave birth to 12 more children.
Poor woman.
Exactly.
There's no satisfying something. Well, it looks as if this ghost isn't going to appear for us tonight. Or at least not quite yet. Let's move on. Is that just my shadow? Must be my shadow. It keeps coming every time I go like that. Strange thing is, it's a mark, just like a round thing. There's part of me you'd expect it to extend, but it's just like hovering there. That is weird. I think it is me.
A ghostly hand comes out from underneath this stone, followed by a full figure. It will hover around down here and then just disappear.
That's a beautiful great.
Come on, give us a finger.
So he's probably looking up at you through the gaps here in these paving slabs. Except he probably isn't, because his head is not there. I'll say so. Time for Thomas Percy, who rebelled against Queen Elizabeth I. And after a series of battles and sieges here in the north of England, Thomas Percy was defeated. He leapt on his horse and he fled. That alley, as on a horse would be good. Off you go. However, Thomas Percy was recaptured and brought back to York here in chains. Back here in
Gandalf style.
Thomas Percy, you were tried for rebelling against our great Queen Elizabeth I. How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Not.
Boo!
No.
Hang him.
Do you think, jury? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty! Hang him!
Hang him.
Cut off his head!
Bowman. Put him in the stop.
Death! General death!
Lovely people here tonight, wooden scaffolding was erected on the street behind where we are now, especially for Percy's execution. And a huge crowd gathered to see Percy executed. That's you lot, so can we hear some cheering, please, Mom?
Off with his head!
Chop it off!
That was my hand. Don't,
Snooze, you lose.
don't get too carried away.
Do it!
1, 2. Careful. Wait for the timing. Strike number 2. This is the big one. Strike number 3. His head, however, dipped in time to preserve it, lay from a spike on Micklegate Bar gateway. 2 years the head looked down on people. Eyes and ears would drop on people, and the birds would come and land on it and feed on it. Yum yum, peck peck. That's good. We trained him to do this. Trinity Churchyard. Dead of night, his friends, they climbed the gate to remove the head and gave it a proper Christian burial. A few years ago, a lady was eating her packed lunch in this churchyard where his head is said to be buried. In fact, she was the church warden, and she noticed a man in very, very fine, expensive Elizabethan costume, and she assumed he was part of some kind of reenactment. And from looking at him from behind, she saw the man appear to be stooped forwards. He appeared to be stooped forwards. So she couldn't quite see his head, looking for something in the grass and the leaves, kicking around with his feet. The man then disappeared behind the church. The lady, she went back to her packed lunch. However, she's had the feeling she wasn't alone again. She looked up, and to her horror, she saw the very same man now walking directly towards her. But what she had thought to have been a stooped head was in fact no head at all. You've got it. Hang on. I'll guide you. Grasping, clenching, fingers through the churchyard. This way here as well. Through the churchyard, headless, apparition staggered. The lady fled in terror. Wanted to get your revenge. Arms outstretched as in throttling motion, as if to throttle lady's throat. It's very good throttling. Pretend! Pretend, not for real. It's a normal night home, baby. Give them both a clap. This house here, number 10 The Shambles, it's a shop today, it was a house. It was lived in by a lady called Margaret Clitheroe, a Catholic lady who was martyred in the year 1586. And we're to reenact the scene for this story. So I'm going to pick a lady from the group tonight to act as this lady, Margaret Clitheroe. So, who's ready here tonight that anybody thinks that I should pick?
One of these. This one. This one. Pick her.
I thought we picked her before.
You picked me.
I picked you, did I?
Twins!
Ah, okay. Come
Pick her.
here then. Well, if you're a Catholic girl, never seen a Catholic girl looking quite like you, but if you're a Catholic girl, you better go like this. Okay. So Margaret Clitheroe was a very good Catholic girl. She held Mass in her house, religious service, even though she wasn't supposed to, because by the late 1500s, Britain was now a Protestant country, and of course it was illegal to be a Catholic. And furthermore, she hid Catholic priests, Catholic Jesuit priests hiding holes in the walls known as a priest hole.
Could
And in
you?
this very house, that was her house, that still survives this very day, the priest hall where Margaret hid these priests. And these Jesuit priests, they were thought to be infiltrating the country. But one day, the Protestant authorities who had been spying upon her and spying upon her house, they came a-knocking. Oh, come on, is it guilty or not guilty?
They were my harem.
What?
They were priests, they were a harem. I'm innocent.
Did anybody else understand that? Was that Latin? Was that Latin? Was it just bad English?
They were my harem, they were all my lovers, not priests.
Ah, I see.
I'm
I
very
see.
popular.
I see. Okay, what do you think, jury?
Guilty.
Guilty!
Off with the head.
Quite possibly. Can we have another volunteer executioner?
As much as I'd love to do that right now.
See, no one wants me to die. I'll do it. She'll do it, she'll kill me.
You will, won't you?
I will.
I think we ought to pick you, twin sister. Take her by the arm. Manhandle her. Now we need to move on around the corner for this grisly deed.
Frog march.
Slight problem.
Executioner is the one pointing.
Just turn round, everyone. Can you all? Would you have all known which one it was? I'm confused. Anyway, I'm confused. Is this one? Is it?
Yeah.
You sure? You sure? Okay. Okay. You know, it would have been a brilliant way of getting away with it. Margaret was condemned to be pressed. The punishment of people who refused to plead in England in the Middle Ages and beyond, partly as a form of her execution, partly to get her to confess. Margaret was placed on a platform like this bench. Executioner, do your grisly deed. A heavy door was then placed on top of Margaret. Heavy stone weights were then added to the door. Heavy stone weights, just pretend. More weights and more weights. Hang on, stop. Let's stop pretending. Let's do it for real!
Hooray!
Borrow all of your bags. Bring forth your bags. Can you borrow your bags?
No, my bag's heavy.
Yes. Put that on there. Anybody else got a bag? Anybody else got a bag?
I do, but I can't take it up right now.
Bags. Anybody else got a bag? Somebody else must have got a big bag. Hang on, can I let me do this? Oh, what have you got in this one? Can I just check?
She's right, especially.
One of your friends got bricks in this bag.
She's not being my friend, Dad.
This is very important. You're not pregnant, are you? Good. And Margaret was tragically crushed to death within 3 hours.
Dance on the
3
door.
hours. So it's rather a nasty way to die in a gruesome part of York's history. As recently as 1970, Margaret was canonised by the late Pope, and she became known as Saint Margaret of York. Margaret,
She's no saint.
that, please, you know a saint. Is this particular girl a saint?
No.
She said no. There is a secretive Catholic chapel in York that is run by nuns. And it is the oldest existing convent in the entire country. And if you go inside this very day, there is a small wooden box mounted upon the chapel wall. If you ask the nuns very nicely, they will go and get a key and open that box up. And inside that box, you can see this very day, hard to believe but true, all one hand just there, you can see the black, withered hand of Margaret Clitheroe. Her friends hacked it off as a gruesome relic almost 500 years ago. Some friends, eh? Still there to this very day, flesh and all, it has gone black and is mummified, skin and nails still attached. Yuck! Rather a gruesome sight.
Leave it there. Crush it.
Bap, 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 bap. You didn't think you'd get away quite that easy, did you? Margaret, if you gave an almighty groan, you may get back up, come back to life, thus ending the tour. Arise,
Red Lion pub, haunted.
The Red Lion. Nothing spooky happened. But we had spirits.
Yeah.
So, Neem was talking to the bar people and they were like, oh, some glasses have moved and that. Go and sit back down. What happens? Glass falls over. I think the barmaid knocked her. But they reckoned we'd cursed them.
The guy in there said he didn't believe in ghosts. Do you think he does now?
We're trying to head back to our car now, so we're trying to find her. It's a long way away.
Trying to find it. You're not trying to find anything, you're just following me.
Oh, pretty much. It's for the best.
It's still a team effort.
Tell you what, if I left you two here now, what would you do?
Cry.
I'd get out my maps on the tablet.
Tom, are you here? We are trapped in your